Weak ass intro.
It always is.
It always is.
Oh, it started working. Way to go.
Let's see here. There's my fucking price
My toast broke a couple weeks ago too.
Only 15 minutes late. Jesus Christ, Ashtray, are we live?
Should be.
Why can't I fucking see it? God damn it.
Holy shit, you're like a 70-year-old man when it comes
I
to
am a 70-year-old man. This is
I don't
why you
get it.
guys respect me.
I don't respect you, bro. How dare you put that shit on me?
All right. Tonight's episode of the Red Eye Report, we're going to talk about GPS ankle monitors and how they suck. And whatever. They do sometimes work in certain scenarios, but nonetheless, we have a sloppy intro because tonight's episode is by myself, Ashtray, on the lamb Ashtray. No ankle bracelet needed for me. My slippery little wiggly ankles. Next to me, I have motherfucking Mystic, who needs no ankle bracelet. He's got a Robocop boot. And he's stuck in his home. Then we have Overlord Dad Orton, who found out that the ankle bracelet on Amazon was only $150, so he just strapped one on his new potato baby.
There we go.
Yeah.
Life hack.
Put your toddler out in the backyard. I got him a GPS ankle bracelet.
Oh, the wolves.
You got to do a TikTok.
Carried him away.
Oh, there's where the wolves took him. That's what we call passive ankle bracelet technology. You find out after the fact. And then, as always, we have Tinsel Tits Teddy.
Tinsel Tits Teddy. All right.
Why the tinsel tits? You piece of shit.
Tis the season.
It was the quickest alliteration I had.
Let's see him, bud. Whip him out.
Yeah, right? Yeah, prove otherwise. Show us your tits aren't tinsel.
Nah.
No, I'm good.
See? Exactly. We'll infer. So as always, we have this week's annual, or say weekly pause for the cause. This is this week from the Dane County Humane Society is Daisy, the dialysis donkey. And she doesn't have dialysis herself. She actually is just like really got a bowed back because she spent years in the mountains of Afghanistan carrying a dialysis machine up and down to the villages. And then they brought her to Dane County Humane Society, and she just wants to die. Peaceful
Just
death.
kill me, please. Kill me.
Dane County is, they're holding on to her because she's a great PR story. So there's a GoFundMe to help end Daisy's life. I think you can find that at the RER.com. Anyways, moving on to GPS monitor tracking. You guys all know it, right? You've all been GPS monitored, right?
No.
I have never had an ankle monitor.
I lived with a dude who did.
Okay, so you probably have more.
Who have, but I've never done it yet.
Yeah. So it's like I've never had like, a brother or a close friend who had to have it. It's usually more of like, oh, it was an acquaintance that you hear about just how crazy they are.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh yeah, you hear they got an ankle monitor, and then eventually it's like, oh yeah, that person's motherfucking crazy. The thing is though, there's no like national kind of like, with a lot of gun statistics, there's no national database on like how many people are under. A lot of times they'll just call it house arrest.
Yeah.
But how many people are under GPS monitor surveillance in nationally? There's no database. But here's some numbers from some different counties here to show you how much it has increased since pandemic. What's that?
So nobody counted up how many people have an ankle bracelet on? There's no
national. The point is, there's no national database that is like, oh yeah, this is how many people, because also it's state to state, different programs.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it's not like from a centralized authority or something like that.
Authority, yeah.
There is no centralized authority. So we don't know, like, kind of similar to how it was like, oh, we don't know how many people were killed by cops, stuff like that nationally, and until like the like New York Times and Washington Post decided like, well, we'll spend money to actually try to track this shit. A very similar story to GPS monitoring, and a lot less sexy than cop killings. Cop killers, you know what I mean. Anyways, so in 2015, LA County, at the time, 2015, and I thought this number, I was surprised how low it was in 2015, because that doesn't seem that long ago. There were only 24 people that year who were under ankle bracelet
in
GPS.
LA
County. Now, another county, which is similar, and also shows that just how limited it was back then in Harris County in Texas, 2015. It's only 27. So similar number for like metropolitan county. And then though for LA, you go fast forward to 2021, it went from 24 to 1,284. And from Harris County, it went from 27 to even more. This is in Texas. It went from 27 to, in 2021, 3,876. Now, a lot of that boom was also because of COVID. And it was like, we got to clear the jails, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So they all just started giving everyone ankle bracelets and putting them on house arrest. And so that's the thing is, like, with house arrest though, for the state, and especially that, COVID kicked this off, but now they're like, oh my God, look how much money we're saving. Because
look how much money they're making.
Well, I don't think the state is making. I'm sure the state gets some sort of money, but it's the private companies that are making the money, actually, that are actually the ones who are facilitating the hardware, and they're supposedly doing the tracking, or providing at least the information for the state to do the tracking.
So basically they're like what, some sort of contractor or something, and then they run the program like they...
Yeah, like they've been contracted by the county to provide the hardware that the county will use to track their suspects.
And what authority do these people have? Like, do they have any fucking guns or anything? Like,
wait, no. Wait, you mean the companies that are providing the bracelets? No, they're essentially like a tech company. Like, they facilitate
so they just
the hardware,
provide the information
and the
to the
infrastructure.
police.
Yeah, it's like they're like the U.S. Cellular,
Okay,
like
I got you.
whatever. That's like they're for the the police, and then like the district attorney, and let's see here. Oh, pretrial services. That was a term that is often used for. It's kind of like the county's like department that is supposed to facilitate. They're not going to be the ones who are actually like doing the hardware, but they're the ones who are actually doing the supposed tracking.
Yeah.
And watching after all these people on bracelets. And so, and there is controversy too with this. I mean, not only just because it's like, oh yeah, it's really easy for the counties, county jails to clear their limited facilities by just slapping ankle bracelets on everyone. And also, when they slap an ankle bracelet on you, and they deem that, you as the suspect or defendant have to actually, it's kind of like when you're forced to have one of those interlock breathalyzers.
The breathalyzer things.
Yeah, and you got to pay like $80 a month or whatever to some company that like checks that and regulates it and whatnot, and like That's what they do. Same
so
thing.
you pay for your own ankle
probation too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, like,
And the funny thing about probation is if you don't have it paid off by the time you get off probation, you're not off probation.
Yeah. And well, and the thing too is like, so there's this controversy where, you know, people feel like because these will be put on you before you actually go to trial. And some people, you know, in like the ACLU and stuff will be like, sometimes the punishment of being under house arrest with an ankle bracelet can be worse than the eventual sentence, which might just be probation. Whereas probation is like, yeah, you don't actually have an ankle bracelet on you. Some people under probation, you know, it all varies, but that's also one of those things where it's like, okay, yeah, you know, for some people, it might be a hard burden because they haven't actually been, and I get it, you haven't been fully convicted yet. And also they have to pay anywhere. It can be like the lowest level is usually like $1 a day. But in some counties, it can be up to $40 a day.
Jesus Christ. That's crazy.
$1,200 a month. Basically, so $40 a day would add up to about $1,200 a month. And like this lawyer or, you know, defense attorney was like, that's your rent, you know?
Yeah.
Especially when, you know, you're someone who's down on, you know, and hard on the luck, whatever scenario got you to where you got fucking, you know, pulled over all fucking high and rambling on about Joe Biden. And now you have an ankle bracelet monitor. That's expensive, $40 a day. So the thing is, though, there's also like the idea is there, right? That these people have this bracelet that will keep them like in check, right? And a lot of times too is like these bracelets aren't. Some of them are like you can't leave your house. So there's the two different types where it's like you're restricted to this house area, and or often though it's usually, especially with people who are, you know, accused of battery and abuse or stalkers, that it's like you have to wear this ankle bracelet so you don't go near this school or you don't go near your ex's house or your ex's workplace. And they will set these boundaries up geographically. The problem is, though, is that, like, once they cross those boundaries, like I was saying, this pretrial services, I can't remember which state this was in. I think it might have been in New Mexico. They found where it was like these different, so an example they used was Devin Munford, right? He was arrested initially. I'm sure he'd done plenty of things prior, but arrested for basically shooting a gun out of his car. They didn't really say where he was shooting it at, whether he was just like, woo, or he was like shooting at people. But got to the point where he needed.
Crime, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, right? Yeah, not when you're just popping it in the air, like excited in the old Wild West. That's not a crime, is it, officer? So he got himself an ankle bracelet. While on bracelet, he then went to an apartment complex and killed a man.
Oh, wow.
And then that same day walked over to the 7-Eleven, robbed it at gunpoint, and no one was alerted.
Wow.
Why? Because pretrial services, that was basically this you know, county organization that had to like deal with the data and of all of the different suspects that they have in monitors. Oh yeah, when it's like out of office hours and it's a weekend or holidays, no one's there.
What? Crime doesn't sleep.
There. Yes, crime doesn't sleep. Exactly. This is passive GPS monitoring towards like you can't like, and a lot of times it's the crazy fuckers like this guy who's like, you know what? I'm going to go murder this motherfucker who popped off on me on the gram. And then I'm going to walk over to the 7-Eleven because I'm hungry and I'm going to rob that. Like, these people don't care about an ankle bracelet.
Right.
You can click on this video here where it's like 10 women who have a restraining order against the same man. 37-year-old fucking Christopher Welch. She could play.
Which
That's
video
not
is
that one.
this?
It was the second link.
Okay, so the WGN9 investigates.
Yeah. Sorry. Oh, yeah, right about where the women are. Basically, it's like, okay, so this guy, Christopher Welch, there's 10 women who all have restraining orders on this guy. And he, like, has his Instagram where he's posting videos. He's just like, you know what? He's like, 4 years of this just ain't gonna work. Like, because this battery like is going dead. And that's one thing too that was a thing I learned and didn't think about. But when you have an ankle bracelet, you are court ordered to also have to charge it 2 hours a day. So you got to plug this long charger cord into it, and you got to sit on a leash for 2 hours a day. Now, if you're on the house arrest where it's like true house arrest, right? Like you're not supposed to leave your house. That's not too difficult. But when you're someone like this guy, it's like you got to stay away from these people, from these women. You got to stay away from their houses and their places of work. Of course, he's still probably out roaming around. So then he's like, oh, at work. He's like basically, he made a whole Instagram video like, you know, it just goes off at the most inappropriate times. Like, what a privileged fucking suspect position to have. This GPS monitor battery just starts crying about dying at the most inappropriate times. I gotta plug it in.
So this guy was stalking all these women?
Yes. He was stalking these women and harassing them. And he must be charismatic. He's got this whole like Instagram profile where he's like in his fucking sunglasses and whatnot. But he then made a whole video.
Yeah.
He made national news because he made a Instagram live or whatever where he was just like, yep, there's just no way I'm going to do 4 years of this. And he just like cut it off on camera, threw it into the woods.
Oh yeah, there we go. Just threw it off into the woods.
There. And it just looks like he just went down to the end of like a pier at the local park. It's just like, whatever, dude. Like you're also still like you're making a whole spectacle of this on video as if, and he's like, fuck the guy. This is against my First Amendment rights.
What?
It's like, dude, you've already
It
lost
makes
those.
no sense at all.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
You lost those like 10 women ago. You lost those.
Yeah,
10
like
ago.
10 women ago.
Yeah. I mean, okay, so what are the repercussions of him just tossing that thing into the woods?
And that's the thing. So yes, he is under arrest now. You know, when this local news report concluded that he is
Where's he from? Is this Chicago? WGN?
I can't remember.
I think it's Chicago.
Yeah, I think it was Illinois.
Yeah, WGN in Chicago.
Yeah, so I mean, he is under arrest, but this he is a classic example of how like these 10 women, that's why they have a Facebook Messenger group, because you're constantly living with the fear that like even though this man has an ankle bracelet on, he doesn't give a fuck about the ankle bracelet.
Right.
He's gonna cut it off live on Instagram.
Well, it's the same people who don't give a fuck about restraining orders. I mean, it's not, that piece of paper's not going to stop him going over there and beat the ass.
And that's
Right.
such a common thing where
a lot of people think they're safe.
No, I have a friend who's a friend who basically had, you know, this restraining order against their ex-husband, and it was like no one's paying attention to where his ankle bracelet is on, and so put a fucking air tag in their vehicle because they would just cruise past their house anyways. Because you got to wait for an alert to go to the cops. It's not like you as the victim have access.
Right. You don't know what the cops
you
have.
You don't know where they're
Right.
at. And that's why so often it's passive and after the fact that you, oh, sure. Yeah. You know what? This is how we figured out for sure he was the murderer.
Yeah.
because his ankle bracelet was still on, and he went back to the fucking victim's house. You know, it's like that passive act after the fact, where like the police can't show up in time, and the suspect doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, so it's just like a cash grab.
Well, the thing is too, though, like, don't get me wrong, and I don't want to like shit on the entire thing, because there are people who will take that serious. They'll be like, fuck, man, they put an ankle bracelet on me. Like I need to fucking turn my life around. There are people who are gonna take that shit serious. It's just the illusion, though, that like an ankle bracelet is gonna somehow give you as a victim, especially if you were an abused girlfriend or
some kind of safety,
a sense of safety. And that's the thing, is like this person knew that their ex was still cruising past their house,
right?
And where it's like they could actually get a real-time notice with an AirTag compared to GPS, even though that itself technically isn't legal.
Right.
So here's another statistic that Cook County, Illinois, which I think was that county where in 2020, they had 456 people, or about 15% of their suspects who were under GPS monitoring were technically AWOL. Like, and that's the thing too, that was a whole nother story, was about how the battery neglect. So there it which is funny, but also I guess I could see it as in like the and maybe it's more like the crazy ones are so defiant of the fact that they have this GPS monitor on them that they have to cut it off. That there's actually more people who just cut their bracelets off than there are the people, which is like, this is what I would do. I would just, I forgot to charge it.
Yeah, right.
I got to charge it. And that's the thing, is when they start letting it go low on battery, and that is with this anecdotal story with a friend with the crazy ex, is that they were getting constant notifications too that they weren't charging their bracelet. And what does the law do when they get these when the private company gets the notification? Oh yeah, he isn't charging it. Well, we'll give him a phone call, and they're like, yeah, you just resolve with a phone call, or maybe we have to show up in person. It's like, it's also just real easy to be like, oh, I could just let this thing die. I don't even have to cut this off. I just let this thing die, and then I go wherever I want or disappear.
Right. Yeah.
And if you let it die and you cut it off a month later, when you feel like you've really, like, if you're actually going to like just skip town and try to evade your charges for whatever they are, you're not actually just stalking some ex. It doesn't matter. You cut it off. The battery's been dead.
Well, you could test the water too. You could see like, okay, well, let's let the battery go down. Let's see what happens. See if I get a phone call. And maybe test it during the week versus the weekend. Oh yeah, and you go, sorry, I just forgot, or I got really busy, right?
And I couldn't stand, in the one room while my ankle was hooked to a cord. And there are a lot of manipulative motherfuckers out there that'll see how much of a reaction do I get when I am crossing the, state boundaries that they put on me. So yeah, as a victim, like, that's the thing, is sure, it may be super helpful in providing real, irrefutable evidence after the fact, because but that's the sad part, is that like the idea that putting this ankle bracelet is going to actually reform a person, like, sure, there's going to be a small minority who are going to take this shit serious. But the crazy bastards who are like out to stalk their ex don't give a fuck, because there are also those types who's like, I'll kill myself for you, baby, like. Yeah.
Well, I feel like a lot of that after the fact data could be collected using cell phone records as well. And just getting tower records of where your phone is located.
That is also if they're carrying their phone. But the thing is, you can shut your phone off or leave your phone at home.
Right.
Your ankle bracelet like that is the whole point, is that it is stuck to you and is supposed to also alert if it is forcibly removed.
Yeah. Have y'all seen the TikToks of the black chick who got upset with her boyfriend and cut his fucking bracelet?
No, but it sounds similar to some of these stories.
Yeah.
What, like she was cutting the bracelet with him, or her crazy boyfriend cut the bracelet and she made a TikTok about it?
He was asleep and she was pissed about something he did or whatever. So she went in there with some big ass fucking scissors and like
she just cut his bracelet off.
Yeah, and he
just to get him in trouble. She cut him in trouble.
Yeah, yeah. Just cut his shit off. See if I can find it.
Shit, man, that almost sounds orchestrated because that's the thing is like from what I've seen, like you need like bolt cutters, like real heavy duty. Like you can't just snip that out with the scissors because they're made to not be cut off without some serious work. To where it's like if your girlfriend's trying to get you in trouble by cutting your bracelet off, like I bet you it's staged. But nonetheless, though, yeah, it is one of those things where it's like people think that it's keeping people in line and in check, and no, it's more just like kind of a mandatory tracker that sometimes only proves its worth after the fact when somebody's already been either hurt or murdered, because the cops aren't just instantly like, oh shit, he left his zone or he got into her. That's the thing. These people go right up outside of people's houses with these bracelets on because they're crazy and don't give a fuck.
Well, there you go.
So anyways, GPS ankle monitors. Don't always trust them. Good luck. Moving along to our what sexy section. And first off, we've got Oracle with Loki.
Normally I don't give a fuck about any Marvel stuff. I've watched very few Marvel movies and shows. Decided to give this Loki show a try.
That's been around for how long now?
2 seasons.
2 seasons, yeah.
I'm just finishing up the 2nd season. It's pretty fucking cool. Like, it's got this whole, like, 1960s weird time authority, bureaucracy thing going on. It's a pretty badass
feels very
thing.
Doctor Who-ish mixed with, like, something.
Yeah. So you don't have to give a shit about Marvel stuff or know anything about it, really, to get into the show. And it's really cool. It's got a very unique aesthetic. Feels really cool, really well done. And yeah, I recommend it.
If I would say you should try out the What If show. That was pretty cool.
Okay.
Yeah, try What If. I mean, and it puts a spin on a lot of the comics and stuff. Yeah, check it out.
Well, there you go.
Cool. Moving on. Mystic. Dodgers think they're turning Japanese. I really think so.
So, I was thinking the other day, the Los Angeles Dodgers recently signed 2 players. Total contracts are $1 billion.
It's insane.
Yeah,
7 years, 10 years, 10 years, $700 million for Shohei Ohtani. And $300 million for Yamamoto. But then I was like, you know what? There's few teams in any sports that have like the merchandising power as like the Dodgers, the Yankees, teams like that, the Cowboys, even the Packers. Those motherfuckers travel really well.
Mm-hmm.
But the Dodgers literally just bought an entire country.
That's true.
121 million people, and they by far love like that is their favorite sport.
Mhm.
Baseball, like the Japanese baseball leagues are insanely popular.
So do you think that's what?
Shohei and Yamamoto are fucking insane, dude. His shit is going for like $250. His fucking jersey's in Tokyo right now.
Really? So do you think that is like a big part of this, not just his
Absolutely.
talent?
It's an investment.
Wow.
It's a literal investment. They're making probably more off of merchandising than 90% of MLB is making in to combine. You know what I'm saying? Just in fucking
like the residuals of
jerseys, hats, all the merchandise, they get percentages of everything that Shohei does. You know what I'm saying? Like promoting everything too. It's insane.
Is this
like,
guy
it's one of the greatest
that
business
good?
decisions I've ever seen.
That's what I sometimes wonder too. Like,
I don't know anything about him.
How much can you talk up someone's potential until they pull a hammy? Oh no!
He's a two-way player.
He's a two-time MVP, and he's a pitcher who is like he's an ace pitcher, and he is a fucking slugger too.
Really?
Like he is a legit threat.
He hit like 50 home runs or some shit.
No shit. Wow.
He will go out and play hitting and play third or outfield. Or
it's
even
totally worth everything.
Yeah, right.
I changed my mind. Perfect.
So do you hear, because of California's like tax laws, did you hear like Shohei he's getting $70 million a year for a certain amount, and he's gonna put the rest off to like 2034 or whatever, and get a big lump sum. But that's $7 million a year he's getting because of the tax laws in California. He's only gonna take home like 40.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, they're broke. So
he's not taking that home though.
Shit.
The way it's structured is that he only makes $2 million a year.
$2 million a year.
Wow.
And then they're going to be paying for him for the next 50 fucking years.
Yeah.
Basically.
He's Japanese. He doesn't give a shit. He's probably eating ramen.
Yeah. No, what he's actually
eating ramen,
like,
sitting on a mat right now.
You know what he cares about? That his fucking mom and dad are like, he at least make more money than lawyer and doctor.
There you go.
Yeah. Nah, they probably still want him to be a lawyer.
I know, right? They're like,
my son's
when
a
you
failure.
gonna give up your baseball dreams?
You would have made such a good doctor.
Such a good doctor. Strong lawyer.
He's not pitching next year, right? He's only bad because of his shoulder surgery.
Yeah,
right?
he's got to have surgery. Yeah. But
Well, okay.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if the Dodgers win anything. Like I said, they're going to literally make more than $1 billion off of merchandising over the course of his contract and Yamamoto's.
Yeah. Interesting.
Exactly. Well, on to sexier things. Have any of you ever had your partner use a vibrating butt plug?
No.
Oh my God.
On you?
No, not on you. Like they wear a butt plug while you're having sex. That's why I sent you that picture. And I was like, you should get every one of your wives one of these for Christmas.
I thought your boyfriend got that for you. I didn't want to.
Yeah, no. My lady friend wore this, and holy, like, because you could feel it yourself. Yeah. Damn, that's what I'm saying. Like, get one for your wives. Like, Teddy, you and your wife, you'd have fun with this. I know Oracle and Mystic are so old school that they don't have sex anymore. But Teddy, like you and your wife, this be fun. Like, because the vibrations channel through, and I was just like, why have I not tried this before?
But why not just wear a vibrating cock ring?
No, it's not the same. The vibrating cock ring is all down at the shaft at the end. Like when your partner, when she's got a butt plug in her that's vibrating while you're fucking her in the vagina, like you're right in sync with those two channels, and it is fire.
So go for the trifecta and put one up your ass too.
Well, yeah. There we go. If you really want to get elaborate, you can put one up your own ass. You can also wear a cock ring too.
He did. He never told us about it. That's all. He fucking did. I gotta try this. Oh, so now my ass is vibrating while I'm fucking. Oh, this is awesome.
Yeah, right?
He did it. He just doesn't want to tell us.
Exactly. made the nuts and bolts of me fall apart. I was just whoa. So yeah, I highly suggest if you're into those kinkier side of things, because it was fucking awesome.
So that the picture that you sent actually had like a power cord coming off of it. Do you have to plug that thing into the wall?
Yeah, it's got its own, rechargeable battery, and like the diamond.
Okay, it's
like,
a rechargeable battery.
To like change the modes, it's like continuous, or it's like a pulsating, like rump, 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 or like a cycling, like a lot of fun. So
vibrating cock rings have that same feature.
Yeah, right. But that's my point. Is the vibrating cock ring is down at base.
Like it makes the whole thing vibrate, bro. Is not big enough for a cock ring? Is it?
No, my dick is big enough for a cock ring. It's just so long that it can't feel the cock ring because it's down at the fucking base of my shaft.
Okay. All right.
I'm saying with a fucking vibrating butt plug, like you're right up in there with the vibrations along the whole fucking parallel.
We've said it before. We can
trust. You said it, yeah.
All right, moving on. The Teddy with an even sexier topic.
Another. Shit! No. Oh,
what? Man, another one?
Okay. It's okay. That's actually my fuck you think. My what's sexy is I got to finish off. That's actually my fuck you think.
Okay.
Yeah, I typed it in the wrong place.
Wait.
My what's sexy?
Is that your sexy?
Anyway, so my what's sexy is you guys know that after my wife passed, I went around and visited all my guys from Xbox, whatever. There was one guy I never got to meet, War Machine, because he stays like 3 hours away, and I never wanted to waste 6 hours, waste the whole day of my trip. And so we actually met up over Christmas break when I went to Iowa. We drove each an hour and a half to meet in a small town of Atlantic, had some lunch, met him and his wife in real life. It was pretty cool. And he does not do drugs. He just talks like that normally. He's just always like that. So, Misty knows what I'm talking about. He's always kind of relaxed and just, it's kind of like Eeyore. And I'm like, bro, you're high as fuck right now. He's like, no, I don't do any drugs. And he doesn't. He doesn't do any drugs.
It's kind of weird. It's weird when you meet people that don't do drugs. It's just like, what the fuck? Like,
right? How do you exist?
Right? Are you cop or something? Or
weird.
Yeah.
Like, you some kind of a fucking fed? Like, what the fuck?
You kind of people you hang out with first.
You square?
But yeah, that's it.
Word. Moving along. Fuck what you think. Oracle. Victimhood.
So I was listening to this podcast, Nextlander, which is kind of a spin-off of the old Giant Bomb, which still exists, but like the original cast members aren't on that anymore. But anyway, they start off, they're doing their Game of the Year awards where they talk about these games, and 2023 has actually been a very strong year for video games. And they kind of preface that they're like, well, we're talking about these games, but we don't want to celebrate it because it's been a hard year in games and just a hard year in general. And I'm like, okay, I guess, but really,
it's a hard year in games.
Fucking hard.
Isn't it great? It's like as if it was really hard year in harvesting, the great salmon,
right? And then I turn on the news, and it's just like, despite the the economy, blah blah blah, the job market's fucking great.
Oh yeah,
they avoided the recession.
That this would be the worst Black Friday and Christmas shopping ever, and it's like, oh yeah, wait, we broke records again.
Exactly, and it's just like, well, and then they always find but it's hard, it's hard out there. It's like, Jesus Christ, it's not gonna be fucking hard, man.
Yeah. Though, there's I was reading an article recently about this whole dynamic that, like, when you look at the economic numbers, it's kind of like there's a lot of positives there, but yeah, like, actual sentiment with Americans are like, it's fucking terrible, like, just worse.
Yeah.
And the article, I think what they basically narrowed it down to, and it was in the Atlantic, was like the fucking English muffin her English muffin complex where it's like, I used to get these English muffins for $2.99, right? And now I have to pay $5.49. And it's like because of all the price influx in the groceries in general across America, it makes everyone just like, ugh, it's just everything's so expensive and blah, blah, blah. Yet the actual economic statistics are showing and are still spending.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a lot of economic activity still going on.
I think it's just, yeah, I mean, that's true, but I think it's a trap. Yeah. And it's just like, so fucking what? Like, what are you going to do when things are really hard? Yeah. You know, like
we haven't, as Americans, we haven't known what it's like to be really hard since the Depression.
Yeah, I know.
You know, or World War II, I guess, would probably be the last, like where there, you had the victory gardens and shit, and we were rationing.
Spoken like a white guy who never grew up on government assistance.
Yeah, you piece of shit.
I know, right? Thanks, Teddy.
I'm just saying, it's you're welcome. I mean, for a while, my parents had money on government assistance. I mean, it depends on your definition of hard.
Yeah, yeah. I just like every single conversation seems like it has to like be couched in this whole like, well, it's hard out there. It's been a hard year. Hard, blah blah blah. It's like, okay, this doesn't mean fucking dick. Like you're not fooling anyone.
Move to Palestine.
Yeah, right? You want fucking hard? Go to Palestine.
It's like Call of Duty for real, bro.
Yeah, go to Gaza.
It's always worse
and be an aid
somewhere
worker
for someone else. You know what I'm saying?
Right, yes.
In Africa, you got to fucking worry about getting beheaded in a lot of spots. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it just as a kid trying to go to school, like there's fucking wars going on all over the fucking place. And yeah, you're right. People out here are like, well, I didn't quite make $100 million this year, but you know.
Right.
Where it's like, you know what? My dad died off of one of those crazy Panera lemonades that just fucking, well, he drank 6 of them, you dumb fucker.
Right.
God. Anyway, who's next? Mystic. Trope Moon.
So that's what this movie should have been called. Trope Moon.
Yeah.
Basically, the plot is 7 Samurais by Kurosawa.
Yep.
There's Star Wars, Star Trek, Battlestar Galactica, and I, for some reason, one of the characters has a Dublin accent, like a brogue accent, right? And the farmers are Pennsylvanian Dutch. So I don't understand what this movie is.
They're really like Amish?
No, so like that's how they talk.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So they're on this moon, they're on this moon out in fucking space, right? And let's just think about this from just a fucking general objective perspective. These people don't want to use technology to like work the land, because this guy's like, we'll give you all this machinery if you help us, you know, if you make a harvest for us. Basically, oh, that was the other one. It's pitch black with fucking Riddick. Yeah. The necromancer motherfuckers. Those are like the bad guys in this one, mixed with the Empire from Star Wars.
The Star Wars,
so, like he shows up and he's like, you got to grow our fucking crops for my troops and blah, blah, blah. And they're like, we only work the land with our hands, like Amish style, like literally talking like they're fucking from Pennsylvania. Like, oh, we only work the lands of dirt, you know, and like, so fucking... So I'm thinking to myself, like, how did you get to this moon? Like, you flew in a fucking spaceship.
Yeah.
You didn't just fucking, some Asians, white and black people didn't just mix and create the people on this moon. Motherfucker, you came there from somewhere. Why? Dude, none of it made sense. I stopped watching it right around the fucking Star Trek Borg spider lady came out.
Is it a movie or a series?
It's actually gonna be 2 movies.
It's a 2-part movie. Yeah.
2-part movie. Yeah.
So you didn't give me through the first part.
I have not been hearing good things about this.
It is just a sloppy pile of shit. Like, it looks great. You
Like
know
it
what I mean?
yeah, stylistically looks cool.
Yes.
God, that's gotta suck too. Is like, think of the people who put all that time into drawing those fucking scenes and set design, and it's like, this would be fucking great. And then you watch it, and it's like, this is a pile of shit.
Yeah, because
like it looks great, my part, but the story's terrible.
The thing is, the only movies he's ever done well, in my opinion, are ones that other people have written. Frank Miller wrote 300.
Yep.
And Watchmen was written by somebody else too.
Mm.
And those are like the only watchable movies. It's just a horrible fucking. Man, stop giving him money to make movies, people. Seriously.
So he wrote this one.
Oh yeah,
directed?
this is total. This movie literally screams, "Fine, I'll go make my own Star Wars."
Yeah.
That's what it's like. Dude, it is it's every trope from almost every sci-fi or fantasy fucking bullshit you've ever seen, just wrapped in.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway. You digress.
It's tough out there. It's tough
out there for the sci-fi writer directors.
It's hard out there for a pimp. You gotta get it right.
Teddy, you ever fuck what you think yet?
Yes. Another cruise. So I've got one. No, it was. I remember I put it in the wrong place, motherfucker. Remember? Right. Jesus Christ. So
you didn't change it in the outline.
No, I didn't. I got home from work and just fucking let it ride. So we're going on one in June with my family, but I didn't have one. I didn't have anything planned for fall break, and my in-laws I haven't gone on a trip with them yet, and it'll be because we're going to spring break. We're doing something else without them and everything else, and they're like, let's go on a cruise in July. I was like, we just go on one in June. We don't want to go on one in July. And I was like, but I don't have any fall break plans. We can go on one for fall break. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, yeah, we're looking at this one cruise, blah, blah. I'm like, just send me information. I'll check it out. And then like 3 hours later, I get an email, and it's like, you and your wife are booked on a great cruise.
What?
So my sister-in-law just went and booked everybody already.
What?
And I was like, I thought we were discussing this shit.
That's kind of crazy. Like somebody just books you for a fucking cruise.
Well, it's not crazy when it's Teddy. Teddy, can you count on both hands how many cruises you've been on?
Yes.
Barely.
You've been on less than 10 cruises?
I've been on less than 10 cruises, yes.
At this point, it just seems like you go on one every other month. Okay.
Yeah. But this is gonna be our the one in fall break is gonna be our last one for a while, like at least a year or two.
And will this one be what?
Yeah,
number
where's
9,
this one
10?
going? Where's this cruise going?
This is a 7-day cruise. It's going to let's see here.
Another third world country under martial law.
Right? No victimhood for
You going to the Gaza Strip? All right.
Yeah, right.
Shut up.
They're gonna float little aid packages on little boats.
Cozumel, Mexico, Roatan, Honduras, Puerto Costa Maya, Mexico. That's where we're going.
Oh, that's probably fine. Cartels. They know not to fuck with Carnival. You gotta deal with them.
It's Royal Caribbean. Carnival too ghetto, man. Plus, they got drug dogs on the ship.
Oh.
I don't like that.
They're ghetto and they have drug dogs?
Ghetto drug dogs.
Well, so many people, like, if you ever been on a Carnival cruise ship, like, all you smell is weed. Like, people, like, if you go, like, people get, they sneak so much weed on a Carnival cruise ship and just walk through the halls, all you smell is weed. And
everyone's just getting baked and fucking.
Everybody's getting baked, and people who don't like it, you know, they fucking. Like, I like Southern wine.
You should have took Royal, bitch.
Yeah, right.
They have drug dogs now.
Now, weren't you saying Caribbean was the worst?
So what?
I can't remember. You ranked them. Like, was it Caribbean was the worst?
Oh no, Carnival's worse.
So Carnival's like the Waffle House of the Sea, or what?
The Waffle.
you get a Carnival cruise for like $200, $250.
Damn, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
You just got to get to port, though. But
It's pretty good if you want to fucking survive the Hunger Games.
I know. I've been told it's terrible, but at the same time, it seems like the kind of weird, absurd carnival that I could.
If you're single, if you're single and debaucherous, hey, Ashtray, that's your jam right there.
Right up your alley, bro. Just watch out. Just Google carnival fights, and you see fucking
carnival fights. Oh my god!
YouTube carnival cruise ship fights, bro. There was one fight that broke out.
Okay,
it was like 60. It was like 60 people, went like 3 or 4 floors, and it all started because people were swinging and shit, and like one person didn't like the other person. It was fucking carnival cruise ship fights, bro.
Damn. Yeah, carnival cruise brawl prompts Coast Guard response.
You know you did it right.
Oh yeah.
When the Coast Guard comes out. Yeah. It was funny. Like the first carnival cruise I went on, there was a fight in the club that night, and the security came and shit. And the guy's like, "What are you gonna do? Lock me in my room?" And the guard was like, "No, we're gonna lock you in the brig. We have a brig on the ship."
Look at the ship moving. Look, the ship moving up in the ceiling. You could tell the whole boat was rocking anyway. Like
that's awesome. Holy shit! Fucking hit an
moving on
iceberg.
To me, Ashtrays. Fuck, what do you think is fucked up breathing and cold hands? So, I don't know about you guys. Let's see, Mystic. You got to sit at a desk for your work. Do you get like your hands get fucking cold, like ice cold, especially in the wintertime?
No.
Yeah. So you probably have normal breathing.
Breathing?
Yeah. So I just would notice that like when I'm at work and I'm actually moving around and I'm like running my printer, loading gear, cutting out banners, hamming them, I'm physically doing the labor. Then I got to go and spend a couple hours sitting in front of my computer and doing the proofing, right? And it's just all the mental work other than just like pointing and clicking and typing. And my hands those just get fucking frigid cold to where I've got yoga gloves where the fingertips are cut off to try to keep my hands warm. Anyways, I looked up this like relationship where how like breathing can affect when your like extremities get cold, and made me realize how, because you don't think about how you're breathing.
Mm-hmm.
But in trying to, it's essentially kind of just a breathing meditation where you, for 4 minutes, you set a timer and you plug one nostril and you breathe through your nose, through that one nostril, like 4-second counts out, 4-second counts in, and like shallow. The whole point is that trying to slow your breathing down actually will help. It kind of like reserves some of this carbon dioxide in your bloodstream and helps actually push and promote blood flow back into your extremities, like your feet and your hands. And holy fucking shit, it works. It's weird because it also then makes you focus on your breathing and how much I just like felt. It almost feels like you're not getting enough air because it's just through one nostril. And you kind of feel like you're drowning, but it's more like you just have to meditate on it. And I realize that when I get my cold extremities, I think I have like real shallow breaths, or when I get really hyper focused on something, I almost don't breathe. Like I don't have a normal cadence and rhythm to my like breathing out, because it's supposed to be, instinctual, right? Like you normally don't think about breathing, but I think when I get really hyper focused and sitting still at a computer, my breathing is not really regular, and I get frigid, and all my blood is pulling back. So if you got cold hands out there, try that breathing exercise.
There you go. Meditate.
All right.
On drowning through one nostril.
Yeah, right. Drown through one nostril only. And it was the rest of us then. All seriousness, go fuck yourself. Waffle House of the Sea. That is our show. We're going to be here every Thursday, 10 p.m. Central. Be sure to join the conversation on the old Facebook.com/RER Report or RERReport.com. And we don't access anymore, so you can like us, share us, fuck us. I am the Ashtray.
I'm Markle.
I missed it.
And I am Teddy.
This is the RER Report.
Boom.